Welcome to the WP Builds podcast, bringing you the latest news from the WordPress community. Now, welcome your hosts, David Wormsley and Nathan Wrigley.
Hello there and welcome to the WP Builds podcast. This is episode 119, entitled Using Groundhogg to Self-Host Your Email Marketing with Adrian Tobey. It was published on Thursday, the 14th of March, 2019. My name's Nathan Wrigley from pictureandword.co.uk, a small web development agency based in the north of England, and there's no David Wormsley today because, as I've said, we're having an interview with Adrian Tobey. Just a couple of things before we begin. Head over to the wpbuilds.com website, whole bunch of buttons along the top. Go to the subscribe page because we've amended it slightly, hopefully to make it slightly easier for you to subscribe to things. Like, for example, our newsletters. You can subscribe to get the podcast delivered to your podcast player, YouTube channel, Facebook group, and so on and so forth. Just something to say about that. We've got a brand new email list, and you can subscribe to it on that page, or you could go to wpbuilds.com/alerts. And this new email list is completely separate. If you're on our email list at the moment, it's completely separate. And the idea is that I'm going to be sending out from now on, every time I receive word about a WordPress deal, so for example, 20% off this awesome plugin, I'm going to immediately send that notification through to you via a plain text email. It's going to be very, very short, just 5 or 6 lines explaining what the deal is. And the title of the email, the subject line, will be very plain and obvious as well, so that, you know, if it's something that you've already bought or have no interest in, the title will show what the name of the product is, and you could just bin it without even opening it. But if it's something that interests you, you could open it up, and it'll be very short, like I say, plain text. So that's maybe something worth doing. The next one to say is we actually have Adrian Tobey from Groundhogg on a webinar very, very soon. And if you go to wpbuilds.com/webinars, you'll be able to sign up to it. It's actually on Thursday, the 21st of March, and it's at 2 p.m. UK time. If you sign up and don't manage to make it, then we'll send you a video recording. But if you don't, then we won't know to do that. The next one to say is we've just finished a competition over at wpbuilds.com/win. And I would say if you entered that competition for Themify Me, I would go and check the Facebook group to see if you've won and keep your email open. Hopefully that was something that you did win. /deals to get loads of money off WordPress deals. And finally, /advertise. If you'd like to be a part of the WP Builds podcast and get your product or service noticed, then we have banner ads and audio inserts, and it's very much appreciated. The WP Builds podcast is brought to you today by the Page Builder Framework. Do you use a page builder to create your websites? The Page Builder Framework is a mobile, responsive, and lightning-fast WordPress theme that works with Beaver Builder, Elementor, Breezy, and other page builders. With its endless customization options in the WordPress customizer, it's the perfect fit for you or your agency. Go to wp-pagebuilderframework.com today. And WP Ultimo. Could you imagine having your own profitable network of WordPress websites that can be 100% set up and configured by your clients? Make it a reality with WP Ultimo. Payments, plans, limits, templates, customization, it's all taken care of. Just download the plugin, configure the options, and you're ready to go. Visit wpultimo.com today to find out more. And we thank all of our sponsors of the WP Builds podcast. Okay, on a very windy day, I'm about to hand over to the podcast interviewer, Adrian Tobey, and myself. We're going to be talking about Groundhogg, which is a plugin which enables you to create complex email marketing sequences, otherwise known as funnels. It's built all inside WordPress, so there's significant cost benefits there, and it's very feature rich. I would urge you to look at this seriously if you are paying for a SaaS app at the moment and have an inclination to save yourself a few pounds or dollars. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Hello there, welcome to the WP Builds podcast once again. Thanks for getting this far. Today from all the way from Canada, we have Adrian Tobey. Hello there, Adrian.
Hi there, Nathan. Thank you for having me on. I'm super appreciative. I hope the weather in, I guess, the United Kingdom is a lot better than it is here.
Yeah, Toby is in Toronto, and as of the moment that we're recording this, you'll probably be having to cast your mind back a little bit. But we had a really, really bad bit of weather in the UK, but it was as nothing compared to Toronto and Canada, where it's like minus 30 degrees centigrade. So hopefully you're still alive when we actually put this out.
We're staying warm here. It's supposed to go up to above 7 following the weekend, which is ridiculous swing in temperature.
Yeah,
but we're kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, 37-degree swing in a couple of days. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the weather. We're here to talk about WordPressy things because Adrian, I literally don't know how I came across Adrian's plugin, which is called Groundhogg. But I did. I think it might have been in somebody's Facebook group, perhaps even the WP Builds one. But it piqued my interest because it seemed like the solution that many of you might be looking for if you're trying to send out emails and automate that whole process. We know that there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can pay for, SaaS apps and so on, but as we are WordPressy people, we like to do things inside WordPress. So we have a product called Groundhogg. Let's get this first one out of the way. Is a groundhog a real animal?
Yeah, so we have so groundhogs all belong to a same group of species, which the name escapes me at the moment. But there's the prairie dogs and the groundhog, and the gophers, and there's a whole basically a bunch of them that range around North America.
Right.
I think the biggest of the group is actually in Africa, and I totally forget the name at the moment. But essentially, the groundhog is a rodent, and so it belongs to the rodent family. So it is in the same family as the mouse and the rat and all that good stuff. And they terrorize golf courses. I'm not sure if you've ever seen the movie with Bill Murray, Caddyshack. No, but Bill Murray acts as a caddy on a golf course, and the entire movie he's just being terrorized by a groundhog, just totally destroying the greens and everything.
Wasn't Bill Murray in Groundhog, the other movie about groundhogs?
That is actually the namesake of the plugin. So the namesake of the plugin actually comes from Bill Murray's appearance in Groundhog Day, the movie.
That's it, Groundhog Day, where everything repeats itself over and over.
Where
again.
everything repeats itself.
Yeah.
Just a little history of if you're curious about why we named it that. I'm certainly more than happy. It's a great story, I think.
Go for it.
Okay, so essentially, our competitors, the software as a service apps that provide essentially the same service that we do of the world, sell a lot of business owners on that they'll be able to automate their business, fire their sales team, and all of these things, and replace it with software. What these business owners end up not understanding is how complex oftentimes the software can be, and it often causes a lot more headaches than they were originally anticipating, and they make a lot of monthly donations to the companies rather than having the apps work for them as was originally promised. Now, that's pretty casting a sweet brush, so that's not the case for everybody, but I've been in an agent or a marketing agency for quite some years, for over 5 years. And we've done a lot of work for people and every single time they've come to us and they say we either have Infusionsoft or we have ActiveCampaign or we have ClickFunnels, and we're spending all of this money, oftentimes over $300 US per month, year after year after year, and it's certainly not making that in return for them. And in obvious time, it feels like, at least to them, day after day after day, it's repeating themselves. They can't get it to work. It's frustrating. They pay their monthly bill, and then they try and get it to work. And they go hire an expert, and the expert isn't actually an expert, and they waste all this money. So it feels like the same day after day after day repeating, much as Bill Murray experiences it in Groundhog Day, the movie, until we come in and provide a solution that kind of just breaks the cycle. Because our plugin does many of the things that a lot of these other SaaS apps offer, but entirely for free.
Great. I get it. So what we're talking about today is a WordPress plugin called Groundhogg. That's GROUNDHOGG.io.
So we can trademark it.
Yeah, .io. And you can find it there, and it's labeled as the free WordPress-powered alternative to expensive cloud-based email marketing platforms. And there is, as we'll come to later, there are some paid extensions which you can have, but there's a very, very, very full free version, which you can find, which is always really nice. And I think these days that's kind of the benchmark, which has been set by a lot of things like the Elementor page builder and things like that. Give a ton away for free and add on the bits and pieces on the end. So, what does it do?
So essentially, as far as Groundhogg, as far as the free platform that we're going to offer goes, it allows you to essentially automate a lot of your email marketing without having to pay for any SaaS-related applications. So in Groundhogg, you can create HTML emails and automate a lot of systems and processes, automate follow-up. So for example, let's say you're a landscaper and you're collecting or you want to provide quotes and you want to automate follow-up with potential customers. So you have a lead capture page on your landscaper website that says, hey, listen, put in your address, put in your name, put in your email, and we'll get back to you and we'll tell you, how much it's going to cost. Right? So they're going to put in their information. It's going to create a contact profile for this person in your WordPress admin, nowhere else. It's all in WordPress. It's going to create a contact profile of this person, and then you're going to be able to essentially automate a little bit of follow-up. So as soon as they fill out that form, you'll be able to maybe apply some segmentation tags. So if they sign up a specific page, you can add them to a specific list of people that you might want to send a broadcast email to later. And then you'll be able to automate some emails. So for example, you want to just say, hi, listen, welcome to X Landscaping Company. My name is so-and-so. And first of all, just before we give you a call later in maybe about 15 minutes, just wanted to let you know how it is that we operate. We're always there before 10 a.m. It takes about 15 minutes to do a lawn. Here are our price ranges, and we're going to give you a call in order to follow this up. So you do the call, and then the call goes moderately well, but they don't buy right away. You obviously don't want to have to manually email that person in a week. So you just let the system take for you. So you hang up the phone, you press a button, and then a week following that phone call, the system will send that person an email saying, hey, listen, just following up to make sure, if you went with another landscaper, that's fine. If not, why don't you just give us a call back and we'll make sure that we cut a deal for you. So that's really the essence of things. It's to allow the small business owner and even like the medium-sized business owner, since this is a very scalable platform, to automate the simple things that take up the most time in your day. Yep. Sending emails and following up with people and pulling reports and all of that stuff. We just want to take all of the manual labor of those processes and essentially provide a platform for you to do it within WordPress.
Yeah. I mean, we've all been, no doubt, every single person listening to this podcast will be the recipient of such an email sequence. And I've really only come across ways of doing this via, a monthly subscription to a SaaS app. So there's things like ActiveCampaign and Infusionsoft, which, as you just told me, has been rebranded to something that I have completely forgotten already.
Keep.
There you go. That was memorable, obviously. And the principle of doing this inside of WordPress is obviously very attractive to me. But the nuts and the bolts of it are what we're here to talk about today. How does it actually work? What does it look like? What are the options that are available to somebody? So let's start right at the beginning, where you mentioned just a moment ago lists. That is presumably a core functionality of it. If people sign up on the page, you can assign them to certain lists, and those lists could be attached to, well, anything, a product or a landing page or anything. So you're able to curate a whole bunch of lists. Would that be true?
That is correct. So MailChimp and Constant Contact call them lists. We call them tags.
Great.
Which is a little bit more fluid way of thinking about it these days. We're certainly not the first people to come up with the idea.
No.
We'll be the first to admit, but it seems to be something that a lot of people can easily understand. So we use the tag system. And tags can be super fluid, so you can attach a tag based on a page, or you can attach a tag based on a link that they clicked in an email, and you can essentially name these tags whatever you want, and contacts can have multiple tags or be applied to multiple tags. And it's a very fluid way of thinking about it, which allows you to come up with some pretty cool automation series. But essentially, the way that it works is you'll apply a tag to a contact based on something, and tags can be used within our funnel builder, which is kind of our automation builder, our campaign builder, however you want to think about it, in order to move people through sequences, or to use that list of tags in order to send a broadcast email to a group of those people who have that tag.
Okay, so an example might be that I've clicked on a button on your website and filled out a form with my name and my email address because I was interested in purchasing some landscaping product or what have you. That automation could then assign me a tag, and then I could broadcast an email out or put me in a sequence based upon the fact that I have that single tag or a whole multitude of other tags.
Nail on the head. That's exactly correct. Yeah.
I should probably say, actually, if at any point during this podcast your interest is piqued, but yet you are puzzled by the fact that we're basically trying to describe something visual with words, there is on the Groundhogg.io website, right at the top is a button or a menu item called Demo. And if you click on that, there's a 25-minute video which runs through the whole process of setting this up from start to scratch. I actually thought it was I felt pretty confident by the end of it. I thought it was your brother, but is it your dad that's doing it, you said?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so assuming that we've got something that we need to offer, actually thinking about it, it doesn't necessarily have to be something for sale, does it? It could just be, I've got a website launching, sign up here if you're interested in finding out about something in the future, like a holding page or anything. But
anything, really.
Yeah, we've put them in our we've assigned them a tag, so we've got something that we can hook into when we want to send something out to them. How do we go about building, again, excuse me if I use the wrong word, how do we go about building campaigns so that they can receive email from us?
So when we build a campaign, we actually provide a framework for you to start. So a lot of our competitors, when you kind of just get thrust into this builder with a lot of elements and there's a canvas and you have to kind of drag in and order things without any prior knowledge of what it is that you're doing, we thought that was too complicated and didn't provide a stellar user experience. So as soon as you go to add a funnel for the first time in Groundhogg, you'll be given a series of options or templates that you'll be able to choose from in order to best fit the solution that you're trying to accomplish. So I'm actually looking at my screen and I have a few of them in front of me. So my personal favorite is the Welcome series. And the Welcome series includes a nice confirmation email. In Canada and the United States, we have a lot of anti-spam legislation. And now I guess you guys have GDPR,
yeah, that's pretty,
which is even more strict.
Yeah.
So we have a welcome series, which includes confirmation emails and double opt-in emails and the whole thing to make sure that everybody's hunky-dory. And by the way, Groundhogg is fully GDPR compliant and comes with a ton of GDPR features pre-installed that you can just enable in the settings page for anybody listening in the UK at the moment. So we have the Welcome series. We have an Abandoned Cart series. So if you have one of our e-commerce plugins installed, there's an e-commerce or an Abandoned Cart. We have Long-Term Nurture, which is kind of just an email after email based nurture series for a few weeks. We have a webinar registration. We have a feedback request if you're collecting reviews. We have a lead magnet download, which is also really popular. We have one that just allows you to start from scratch. So if you're a pro at this and you know exactly what it is you want to do, you can just start from scratch.
Right.
And we have an email preferences center funnel, which actually is automatically pre-installed. So the one that you'd want to use probably in that case that you gave me is the Welcome series, since what happens is you just it starts off with a form and you just can paste the short code of the form or the JavaScript code of the form on any page on your website. They fill out that form and they immediately get set their confirmation email that, hey, listen, you just signed up for this just to make sure that you're actually you, and so that we don't get in trouble for sending you emails later. Then just click this confirmation link right here, and we'll confirm your email address and we'll send you, whatever information that it is you originally requested. And after that, you can put in a timer and then send another email that says, I guess you used the website launching, right? The website launching case. Mm-hmm. So after that, you can essentially time out your timers till the day of your actual launch. So if I'm launching on March 1st, then I could set a timer to run on, I guess, February 15th. That says, hey, listen, we're launching in 2 weeks. Stay tuned. Here's some stuff that you can do in order to get ready, create your account or whatnot. And then on the day before March 1st, which I guess is February 28th.
Yes,
February 28th.
On a normal year, yeah.
On a normal year. Then say, hey, listen, we're launching tomorrow. Super excited. We're totally ready for you to come and hang out with us on our blisteringly new cool website. And then obviously on the day of, you can send out another email that says, "Hey, we're live," and then totally crash your site with the amount of traffic. True story.
If only it was that easy. Yeah.
True story. We once sent when I was working for an agency, we once sent a series of emails over the course of a week, one every single day, to a list of 8,000 people, telling them that there was going to be a sale. And it wasn't even a big sale. I think they have to buy everything at regular price, and if they spent over $100, they got a free dog bowl. And we sent, and they had just had their site rebuilt, and it was on a new server and whatnot. So all the technology, which we didn't take care of, was kind of new. And we sent so many people at 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to this website, it totally crashed.
Yes,
and was unusable until about 6 a.m. But we sold $180,000 worth of dog food.
Lesson to be learnt. Yeah, that's good. The nature of it, though, the way it works, the best description that I can give you is rather like a WordPress page builder. So think of something like Beaver Builder or Elementor. When you're actually building these sequences, there's a whole bunch of buttons, in this case on the right-hand side of the screen, and they are the features of that sequence, shall we call them, that you can drag in. So the timer delay that you've just described is a button. You drag it in, you slot it into the sequence, which works from the top of the page. That's the first action which is going to be taking place, and then the one below it follows on. So the first one might be, get the email address, and then the second one might be wait until the 15th of February, and then the third one might be send this email, and so on and so forth. So maybe if you could talk us around that little UI, what are you might have to spend a moment getting this up on your screen, I don't know. What are the...
I got it in front of me.
Great.
I'm ready to go.
What are the features that we can have in our email sequences, apart from the sending an email and timer delay?
Mm-hmm. So I guess the first important thing to mention is that our funnels or campaigns or whatever you want to call them, we call them funnels.
Funnels, okay.
They're essentially, the terminology is universal. So the first thing to mention is that we have two different kinds of what we call funnel steps. We have benchmarks and we have actions. Now, benchmarks, in order to put some context around that, is whenever a contact record or a user on your site does something. So they have triggered something to happen in your website that tells the funnel to do something. Mm-hmm. And the kind of anti-benchmark is the action, and the action does something to a contact. So you kind of have this dichotomy where benchmarks essentially tell actions to do stuff. And then whenever a benchmark is completed, the actions stop doing stuff and then get moved on to essentially the next step.
So a benchmark might be if the tag purchased gardening equipment is applied, then do an action.
Essentially, you've kind of nailed it down there.
Yeah. Okay.
So we always start off our funnel with a benchmark, usually an opt-in form, but it could be like a page visit or a WordPress account is created. And I'm kind of just listing off here. So yes, a very important thing is we have a deep integration with the WordPress account system, because it just comes default with WordPress. So anytime an account is created, you get a contact record to reflect that. And you can use account created, and if a user role is changed, then both of those are benchmarks that can start and stop automation.
Interesting.
Which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
So we can arrange those and drag in our benchmarks, and we always start one off with a benchmark. So as I was saying, web form, account created, an email address is confirmed for your GDPR people, a tag is applied, a tag is removed, they clicked a specific link, or they have a page visit, and we also have a range of, as you mentioned earlier, premium extensions that add further benchmarks depending on several plugins that you have. So I currently have Easy Digital Downloads installed, which is a very popular e-commerce system for selling plugins, as we do. And I have emptied cart, reached the checkout page, purchased a download, or a specific download was added to a cart. I also have a sales funnel extension that we built installed, and I have a deal move, or a deal is created. If you have a referral plugin, you can have how many referrals a contact is reached, or Stripe payments, or a whole bunch of other cool stuff.
Let's come to those separately at the end and discuss those. But sorry, carry on.
And then the dichotomy of that is we have actions, and whenever any one of those benchmarks that I just mentioned or that criteria is met, then you can drag in a series of actions following that benchmark in order to actually do things for the contact. The default ones that come installed are, we can obviously send them an email, probably the most important one.
Mm-hmm.
We can send them a text message. So we have a Amazon or AWS partnership that allows us to both send emails and text messages through a proprietary system that we've created. That is totally optional to use. You don't have to use it. But you can do both of those. We have admin notifications, so to send an email to an admin or any admin user on your site. We can apply a note, which is pretty simple. Apply tag, remove tags, and then all of our date timers. So we have a date timer. We have a field timer, which is a dynamic timer based on information on the contact, and then a delay timer, which is like wait 3 days. We can apply an owner. So all contacts can have what's called a contact owner. So emails will come from that owner rather than any kind of hard set person. We can create user accounts within the funnel. So if you only want to create user accounts, for example, for confirmed email addresses, then you can disable the kind of default WordPress, allow the creation of users and only create users for confirmed email addresses. And then some other kind of more complex ones that I'll get into later that come with premium extensions.
It's really powerful. I mean, I didn't realize there was as much as of that in it. My experience with this plugin thus far is just looking at the like you said, the quite long video that your father did. You get a real good idea for it. As I said before, the funnels go from top to bottom. So you apply the actions at the top and then everything sort of trickles down by the time you get to the bottom. In your experience, is it better to create one super complicated funnel, or do you find that it's better to create a whole bunch of little funnels and try to link them up with these tags and so on? I'm just wondering what works best with the way that the plugin is built and the way that WordPress works, and what's your experience with what your customers have been doing?
So the whole point of Groundhogg was to simplify the process. So obviously our first instinct is to just keep it simple, because when stuff is simple, then that means if something goes wrong, you can easily fix it, and it's easy to test, and it takes a lot less time to kind of manhandle. So I would think that at least from my experience, it would just be easier to keep funnels simple,
mm-hmm.
And really separate them out from separate parts of your business. So for example, I'll just use Groundhogg, like our business, as an example. So we have 3 funnels that do things. We have a main sign up funnel, which essentially is we have forms all over the website. We have one on that demo page that you saw, one on the home page, one on the register page, and it's all the same form, and it just leads into the same funnel, which is essentially we'll collect the email address, we'll ask them to confirm their email address, and then once they've confirmed their email address, we'll send them the free download plugin and a getting started article and
mm-hmm.
kind of get them ready, and a free coupon code for 10% off if they want to buy an extension. So that's the main sign up funnel, and that's all that happens. Those are the things that happen. So they register, we create a user account, we send them a confirmation email, and we send them a discount code. That's what happens. And
mm-hmm.
and that is that very simple funnel is very powerful. We have another one that runs, which is an abandoned cart campaign. We have and the abandoned cart campaign, essentially, if they add something to the cart, they may or may not buy that thing from the cart. If they don't buy it, then we'll send them an email, and they'll say, hey, listen, here's 10% to go prompt them to check out.
Yep.
And the last funnel that we have is one that we have for a live training that we do once a month, which I host, and I kind of walk through a lot of these steps visually. So we're not just audio talking about it, but we actually have a full end-to-end walkthrough, which takes about an hour to really explain the nuances of how this can work for your business. And that is a separate funnel as well. So those are the 3 that we have going on, and,
yep.
and they're always full. And those 3 simple things are very powerful and are allowing us to grow our business at the moment.
How have you found WordPress's capabilities, and obviously the real vast difference in server infrastructure that WordPress users are paying for? How have you managed to overcome that?
So there are a few nuances on that point. So we've really tried to design Groundhogg to run on even the most basic of shared hosting. So we tested it on, for example, like the $3 a month SiteGround hosting that you get.
Yep.
However, there are limitations on that. So there are no limits for the amount of information that you can have in Groundhog, except for what your server limits. So obviously you can't have a million contacts if you only have like a gigabyte of space, right? And they don't take up that much information, but it is something to keep in mind. The biggest thing to keep in mind is when you're running on, for example, or lesser hosting setups, is that when sending emails, that can become a problem, because sending an email actually takes up a lot of server energy to accomplish that, especially if you're sending it from your own server. So what we recommend is when anybody installs Groundhog is that they do one of two things. They either use our Amazon integration, which is super easy to set up, and it's a credit base, so it's pay as you go. And you can purchase credits on a store. And whenever you buy extensions or anything, you also get free credits as a bonus along with that. I think it's 10% of what, or 1,000 times whatever the cost of your extension is. And you just get those credits for free, and you can use those credits to send emails through our system, which takes up limited or almost to no server power. But when you're sending emails from the PHP mailer, which is the default WordPress setting, then it can become expensive in order to send those emails, at least from a server side.
I think it's fair to say that if you are going to be sending out any amount of email, especially to people who are signing up for email, don't do it off your own PHP mailer.
Don't do it off your own. You can, and
just don't.
But to put that in perspective, if you're only like getting, if you're a small business, and it only takes you 1 to 2 clients in order to kind of pay the bills a month.
Good point.
And it doesn't really matter if you're going to send 1 or 2 emails from your server. But if you're doing like in the hundreds or the thousands, then it's definitely working into either using us or any WordPress SMTP plugin is totally compatible. So the one by WP Forms or any of the other ones, if you just want to hook up an SMTP service like Mailchimp or Mailgun or any of those, totally compatible, and you're more than welcome to do that as well.
But as we'll come on to a little bit later, you have an option which is hooking up to, what is it, Amazon SES? Are you?
Yes. I'm not sure if you've ever gone through the process of setting up an SES account.
Quite a few times.
And it's awful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not easy. So we have our own SES account, but we set up in such a way that anybody can use it.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Presumably they just have to authorize their email against your account.
Exactly. And we allow them to use our SES account and not have to go through that painful setup process, and simply just buy credits from us in order to offset the cost. And we don't provide much of a markup at all.
Okay.
So they're more than welcome to do that and avoid the entire process of having to set up their own SES account. And it's a default option. So
do it that way if you've got no chops with SM. If you haven't got another account and you've got more than a dozen people that you're regularly emailing to, use something. Don't use.
There is an SES plugin for WordPress, which I've also tested and works totally fine with Groundhog. And you're more than welcome to set up your own SES account. But if you've never done it before, then be prepared.
Yeah, it's all the bouncing and the the spam and all of that kind of stuff. It can be a bit hassly, but you can do it. It is possible. So when we've got this automation set up, a large part of it, as you said, a large part of it, as you said, is the emails themselves. And I'm just wondering what the options are in the UI to fill up those emails. So do we have to write everything in HTML, or have we got little buttons for images and so on?
Here are your options. So much like it's an HTML drag and drop editor, much like your standard page builder. You can just drag in elements into an email in order to write the email that you want. We have text blocks, we have image blocks, dividers, spacers, buttons. And we have an extension for countdown timers, which is kind of neat. And we have HTML blocks if you want to write custom HTML.
Okay.
And that's the default. But there's also a toggle at the top where you can switch in between the visual editor, which is kind of what I just described, and a plain text HTML editor.
Okay.
So if you just want to copy and paste an HTML email and slap it into Groundhog, you're more than welcome to do that and just paste all of the HTML in there. And you can toggle in between that and use the same content. So if you drag in blocks and you want to use the same content but start writing it in HTML, then you're more than welcome to do both.
Okay, so things like, for example, the buttons, which is going to have the dynamic stuff in, presumably that's done via a shortcode, the actual the link.
No,
or...
no shortcodes in the email. It's just drag and drop, and it's very much a visual editor like you would receive with Elementor or Thrive Architect or anything like that. Just drag in an element, and then there's settings on the left-hand side in order to edit the content within that element.
Okay, so if you decided to build it in the HTML version as opposed to the drag and drop editor, you'd have to keep a fairly close eye on what that was doing, would you? To see what the button should have as its rendered output?
You could. It's not required. Essentially, there's certain markup that the visual editor uses.
Got it.
And if you add custom HTML and then switch back to the visual editor, it just won't recognize that markup, and you won't be able to edit it visually.
Okay.
But it won't break anything.
I mean, we're not talking about like super uber complicated layouts here, are we?
No,
Most of
we're
these
not.
are sort of transactional emails, so it's an image at the top, a screed of text, a button, something like that, and then a footer, which is with all the canned spam and the address and all of that kind of stuff.
We could have provided like this super uber like nice email editor that you get with MailChimp or you get with a lot of the other kind of like mass email marketing platforms. But we noticed that a lot of times whenever you put so much effort into creating emails like that, they don't necessarily end up performing any better than your basic transactional email with a call to action and an image.
Yeah, good point. I don't know
and more than often they just get caught by spam filters just from appearing a certain way. So we kept it simple because there's no proof to show that more visual emails perform better than none.
Yeah, I don't know what the data is on that. I certainly view them with equal intent. When I open a really visual email, there's nothing about that which goes, "Ooh, buy me."
It's all about the content,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
If you provide proper context and proper content, then the most basic of plain text emails will perform similarly to that of a beautiful visually designed email offering the same thing.
Okay, yeah.
At least in my experience, people's experiences may differ, but that's what I've noticed, and that's what I've applied to our plugin here. So it's pretty. It's not. Well, it's like in between like plain text basic and super pretty. You have your drag and drop blocks, and you can add your images, and there's HTML editing that you can do. But we decided to keep it simple because that's what appears to us to work best and provide the best user experience.
Yep, fair play. So everything that we've just talked about can be found on the homepage of groundhogg.io. If you scroll down about 1/3 of the way from the top, you find a section called Triggers and Actions for Any Scenario, and it lists out and shows you all of the bits and pieces that you've got in there. I'm now going to, however, click on a menu item at the top, which is called Extensions, because this is a way of taking the very fully featured free version and kind of upgrading it in case you've got a very specific need and one of their extensions handles that. Do you want to talk us through what you offer as an extension and which plugins you sort of cater for and which ones you've made links to?
Absolutely. So I will start with probably everybody's curiosity first. We offer form connectors or form extensions for all WordPress major form builders.
Yep.
First off, because we offer our own form builder, and it's pretty good. It's basically it's a short code based builder, much like Contact Form 7. It's a little bit more robust than Contact Form 7, even just as it being a funnel element, and there's lots of stuff that you can do there. But obviously, we don't want to have to make anybody change over their entire set if they have like either Ninja forms or Gravity forms all over the website. We're not going to want to have to make them change that because that's a lot of work. Yep. So we offer extensions for all of those.
Really all of them.
WP forms, Formidable forms, Ninja forms, Forminator, Contact Form 7, and Gravity forms.
Yeah, you've got them all covered, really. I think that's most
pretty much all
people.
Of them.
Yeah. Yep.
And all of those, and the way that those connectors work is they all work exactly the same. So a new benchmark is added into the funnel builder, and you just drag in the benchmark. It'll say either Contact Form 7 filled or Formidable form filled or whatever, and you just drag that in. You select the form from a drop-down of all the forms that you currently have, and then you can map fields. So whatever fields are in that form, you can map to contact record fields that are available. and then once that form is submitted, it'll create a contact record with the mapping, and then automation would continue as otherwise you had used a regular Groundhogg form.
Okay, great. That was my one. I was really impressed when I went to that page, actually, because often you'll see like 2 or 3 of those form plugins, but not all of them.
Yeah, me and another developer literally spent about 3 days just hammering all of them out.
Yeah, good job.
Getting them done, because those people wanted them. So we made sure to cover that.
Okay.
So, and then the next thing is we really wanted to cater to people using WordPress e-commerce. Big part of WordPress is either, in my case, we spent a lot of time on easy digital downloads because, well, that's what we use.
Yep.
And then we basically converted everything that we had made for that plugin into a WordPress comparable version, just with the WordPress actions. So with both of those e-commerce, you get benchmarks, and some replacement codes, which I probably should have mentioned while we were talking about the emails.
That's okay.
Maybe we'll talk about it in a second.
Yep.
But you get so you can auto-generate discount codes and place those in emails. So if you want to do like per person, so instead of a lot of times the email marketing companies won't allow you to auto-create or auto-generate one-off discount codes for a specific contact, but because of the nature of WordPress, we're able to do that. And you can create specific discount codes for a contact that only they can use and place those in emails and send those off and auto-generate those as you send emails, which is kind of neat. And obviously we have that abandoned cart campaign, and there's lots of stuff that you can do. Moving on from that, we have essentially just our add-ons. So those are the plugins that we connect to. So we got form and we got e-commerce, and then we offer a ton of essentially just add-ons. So stuff that doesn't necessarily connect anything, but adds extra functionality to Groundhogg. And I'll walk through a couple of those. First off is the booking calendar, which we just came out with, which is kind of neat. It's designed mostly for one-off appointments and consultants and stuff. So essentially, you can place a booking calendar widget, kind of like Acuity or Schedule Once, or if you use any of those platforms, on your in a widget or on your page directly, and you can select from available times, select specific dates, select specific times, and you can also sync this calendar with your Google Calendar and decide which calendars you want in order to also book availability based on.
Okay.
So that way you never double book yourself. Which is kind of, it only does with Google Calendar. We don't have any other calendar solutions at the moment. So if you use iCal, I'm sorry.
Not yet.
But they're not yet, but their API is proving a difficulty at best.
Okay. Okay.
So we have that. We have if you have a sales team, and you have salespeople and they're currently logging into whatever SaaS solution you have, you can create accounts in WordPress for those salespeople with a specific role which is added when you install Groundhogg, which is the sales agent or the sales manager roles. And that way they can only view contacts which they are the owner of and only view information which they have created, and they won't be able to edit plugins or settings or pages or any other content for that matter. They'll only be able to view CRM content.
Got it. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah.
And when you do that, you can also, and this is leading into our sales pipeline extension, which if you use Pipedrive or Pipeline or any of those kind of like drag and drop deals where you have the columns and you can drag it steps or drag cards in between columns, it's a very similar layout to that. And you can assign values to these deals, and you can assign owners to these deals and contacts, products, and of course benchmarks are also added where you can essentially design an automated layout of in between stages and if you're familiar with Pipedrive, go look at Pipedrive. We essentially offer a comparable system just within WordPress. It's kind of hard to describe on audio because it's a very visually based
I know what you mean.
System. Okay, and so that works really, really well if you have a sales team. And then we have some smaller ones. So we have form styling, which essentially just adds some styling elements to the form builder that we provide in our funnel builder. We have social proof. So if you've ever seen that pop up in the bottom left where it says so just signed up for 3 minutes ago, right? So those apps we used to pay for one. It was called Use Proof or Get Proof or whatever. and it was expensive for over 1,000 views or 1,000 like uses per month. It was like $70 a
Wow.
month,
So you
and
just built it.
I'm like, that's ridiculous. Who's gonna spend $70 a month to show that freaking pop up? So we just built it. It took like a day. They're really charging through the nose for that thing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well done.
But so we just built it, and it works retroactively too. So if you have contacts that are signing up and you install it later, it will use all previous data that you've already signed up. So it's also retroactive, and you can just essentially just show those pop-ups for whatever and decide what criteria it is you want and how many times it shows and how far back in the days it goes. Totally comparable. We have email countdown timers. So if you just want to throw in an email countdown timer to a specific date and time, you can do that, and it'll just work off your own server. No need to go and sign up for any other service like that. And we have another cool one, signed contracts.
I'm really interested in this one. This is piquing my interest. Tell me more.
So currently, I think the only way to really get signed contracts from a SaaS perspective, there's lots of ways to do it on WordPress, but from a SaaS perspective, is like called DocuSign, which is like $15 per month.
Oh yeah.
And if you got like 3 people, like that can get expensive really, really quickly. And their APIs for a lot of the CRM systems out there are not ideal. And it wasn't really that hard to implement it in WordPress. So a lot of these extensions are actually designed to eliminate SaaS products, to really give you a kind of an all-in-one in WordPress cohesive experience, rather than having to kind of piecemeal all of these platforms together, which can be really expensive. We actually, someone came to my father's agency actually just a couple days ago, and they want to convert their entire platform to Groundhogg. And we was like, all right, well, what CRM or what software as a service platforms are you currently signed up for, so we can decide, what extensions that you'll need and so on and so forth. And they had racked up over $3,000 a month.
Wow.
In bill costs for all of the software that they had to piecemeal together to get a not even functioning system.
Wow.
So a lot of these extensions that a lot of the platforms that we've replaced with our extensions can seriously cut down on significant costs.
Yeah.
And they're just a 2-person operation.
So this one though, it literally presents like a bit that you can take on your mobile phone, and that thing where you draw your signature, which never looks like your signature, and it'll enable you to do that at the bottom of a form.
Exactly. Cool. So that's exactly what it does. You can, and in the contract details, or like the actual text of the contract, you can define all that out, write it out in a Word doc or whatever, and then you can insert that into the actual editor that we provide in the back end. And you can insert, and now I guess it's a good time to talk about it, replacement codes. So replacement codes are essentially how you merge in contact information with anything that you're sending them. Okay. And we offer a ton of those. And all the replacement codes are open, or there's a plugins API in order to add your own. So if you want to add a custom plugin and add your own replacement codes or add your own features, all is doable. That's something that we really focused on, was providing an open API and open essentially parts of our plugin so that other people can create custom stuff in order to make their lives easier. Yep. So a lot of that is available, but essentially just plug and place replacement codes wherever you want, like business name, contact phone number, contact address. Just put that in there, and as soon as the contact views it, all of their information will be merged into that document. They will sign off with their signature, and as soon as they click that submit button, it'll reload the page and give them an option to print that document off. Nice. And that document will remove all CSS and all styling and all that stuff, and give them kind of like the font 12 Times New Roman legal document that it should be, with their signature at the bottom.
Very cool. Yeah. I also noticed there's a WP Simple Pay, which is we actually had the guys on from there about a year ago or something. So
smart guys. Those guys.
Yeah, that connects you with Stripe, and then possibly the one that we haven't mentioned, which is going to be of most interest, I think, is WooCommerce.
Yeah, so for the Stripe add-on, that one's pretty simple. So much like, it's actually part of our form connectors kind of area. So essentially, as soon as a Stripe form is filled out, you will select the Stripe form that you want to connect to, put that in a funnel, and then that benchmark will launch as it should.
Yep.
much like
and then you've got all of the regular hooks that you have with, the similar capabilities with easy digital downloads that you do with WooCommerce.
Yes.
So you can trigger actions when something's been bought or when it's been abandoned and so on and so forth.
Exactly.
Now then, the nub of it is most of it is free. If you go to groundhog.io/pricing, you'll see 3 tables, 3 columns in one table. One is very large and it's the free offering, and then you get 2 others where you can sort of buy a la carte. You can buy the bits and pieces that you want that we've just been talking about. So you can buy them one at a time for various different pricings, or right over on the right is the all access one. So they range from $7 to $97 a year for the add-ons, or you can just get all of them for $299 a year. And I presume that's, normal stuff. You get support and updates for a year for those prices.
Absolutely. So it's an automatic recurring yearly. We'll send you an email whenever your license is about to renew. And essentially, you basically nailed it on the head. A lot of our extensions are priced extremely low. I think the cheapest one that we offer, the $7 one, which you mentioned, is our form styling extension, which just adds some options. And we make that pretty low-hanging fruit because that's the one that most people buy. Mm-hmm. And then if you want everything, so for example, if you're a freelancer or you're an agency and you want to provide kind of these extensions to your clients, then you can go purchase an all access pass, and then you can kind of plug and play the extensions that you'll need for any client, and you can get up to 10, 25, or 100 separate WordPress installations, depending on the level of all access pass that you want.
This strikes me as the kind of thing that if you were to get into it and learn it and become capable at using it, you could really push the envelope. You could figure out all sorts of clever and ingenious ways of using this, and then take that knowledge and sell it back to your clients as an offering.
Actually brings up an interesting point. We have another thing that's on our website that we're really trying to push at the moment, and that is our open marketplace. Now, anybody who is a user can sign up to become a vendor on our site and publish their own funnel templates.
Right.
So we have a very cool feature in Groundhogg, which any funnel you have can be exported and installed on any other WordPress website. And it will automatically write the emails and configure the benchmarks and configure the actions exactly the same as it would have on any other website.
So if you're in a niche in particular where you are serving up websites for, real estate agents, and you're doing that over and over and over again, you could easily,
export and then install,
re-import, and save your clients a ton of money and sell it as an upsell to your current offering. Why
Absolutely.
not?
So you can do that, and you can sell it yourself, or what you can do is you can sell it on our website. So we have, so if you're in your actual WordPress website and you were to go to funnels and add new, there is a tab in between the funnel templates and an import funnel tab. There is the marketplace where you can just type in a keyword. So if you were to say landscape, then you could type in landscape, and any funnels related to landscaping will appear just in your WordPress dashboard, and there will be a buy now button, and you can click that buy now. It'll take you to our website where you can purchase the template from that vendor, and we don't take all the money. We just take a small percentage for hosting it. And then that vendor will be given the rest. Nice. And then they will be able to receive that funnel template and then install it on their website. So that's something really, really cool. So that way, anybody who comes up with this funnel that has like a 100% conversion rate will be able to share that with everybody else.
And you will become a millionaire if you figure out a funnel which has 100% conversion rate.
Yes, I suppose you would.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Adrian, for coming on today and telling us all about it. What I do at the end of the podcast is I let you have a minute, whatever, just to tell us where you're at. Give us your email address if you want to, your Twitter handle, whatever, Slack. Go for it.
So, we're in Toronto, Canada, where we operate from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Except me, I work all day, every day.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
We have a couple of ways to reach out to us. We make ourselves extremely accessible. We have a phone number on the website. We have our email address on the website. So if you just go to groundhog.io/contact, you'll be able to see our address or phone number and everything that you'd need to possibly be able to get in touch with us as quickly as possible should you need help. On Facebook, we are /GroundhogWP. We have an open user group that you will be able to paste questions in and not only receive help from ourselves, but anybody else who's currently using Groundhogg and wants to provide some help to you.
Great.
And on Twitter, we are at Groundhogg3. I'm not sure whoever took 1 and 2, but hey.
oh, that's brilliant.
We missed the boat on that.
Yeah, that was probably It never ceases to amaze me what's already gone. It's priceless. Thank you so much. Go and check it out. Groundhogg.io if you're in the need for kind of automating all sorts of things, and you've tried SaaS apps and feel that this might be for you. Keeping it all in WordPress. Very much appreciate it. Thanks, Adrian, very much indeed.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I'm super appreciative of the opportunity, and thank you for reaching out.
Well, I hope you enjoyed Adrian Tobey talking all about Groundhogg. Certainly worth looking at if you're into email marketing and you'd like to take all of that stuff within WordPress and possibly save yourself a few dollars over some expensive SaaS applications. The WP Builds podcast was brought to you today by WP and Up. 1 in 4 of us will be directly affected by mental health related illness. WP and Up supports and promotes positive mental health within the WordPress community. This is achieved through mentorship, events, training and counselling. Please help enable WP and Up by visiting wpandup.org/give. Together we can press forward. Okay, just a couple of things before we go. Remember, go to wpbuilds.com/webinars if you've been interested in Adrian talking about Groundhogg, because we've got a webinar going on next week in which you can ask him all of your questions. And wpbuilds.com/subscribe and click on the form to the new email form to get you some alerts about updated products in the WordPress space. Thanks for listening once again. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you found something useful in it. And I will now fade in the cheesy music and say bye-bye for now.